Girl is no one. Oh wait, a girl is Arya Stark. Either way, I'm not sure. Let's discuss where Arya Stark's path is headed going into Game of Thrones Season 8. Now I want to start off by saying that Arya Stark in Season 7 kind of disappointed me. She was being a bit cruel to her sister the entire time. She was working with Sansa in order to trap Petyr Baelish and have him executed. You know, it was hard to watch Arya and Sansa play their little game, but it all came, to a head at the end. It was awesome to watch. Basically, Arya summoned into the Great Hall for a meeting with her sister and her brother, and Arya asks, is there a reason why there's so many guards lining the walls, and are they entirely necessary? Sansa then proceeds to list a series of crimes against House Starks, and then switches it around and calls up the boy Lord Baelish. Baelish tries to plead for his life, and Arya slits his throat. Now, it is known that George R. R. Martin's wife's favorite character is Arya Stark, and jokingly, George said in an interview that if he ever killed off Arya, his wife would divorce him. Now, the TV show is an entirely separate entity as of its own. Their journey is going to be different, but the end game will be the same. I don't know if that can be said where every single character is left. Maybe with Jon Snow and Daenerys, but not with characters like Arya Stark. What I'm getting at here is that Arya's journey will likely be so different in the books we may not even recognize it. Like what Arya's doing now, basically she was able to take out all of House Frey in one night. That's taken months to plan in the books, and it's done by Lady Stoneheart, a character who on the show doesn't even exist. So when you look at things like that, it's near impossible to try and predict where Arya Stark will end her journey. But what I have noticed is that the show is hinting at the fact that Arya using her Faceless Men powers may come back to bite her in the butt. Now the Faceless Men did seem kind of content with Arya saying that a girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell and she's going home, but I would like to see that come back around. Like, let's say Arya does survive the events of the show. I don't see her getting a completely happy ending, and I don't see her being satisfied with a happy ending, that being marrying someone like Gendry and then making children, and then she's a stay-at-home mom and raises the kids. That's not in Arya's nature. So what I could see happening is the Faceless Men show back up, and Arya officially becomes no one again by the end of the series. Now that's a bittersweet ending if I ever heard one. Arya gets to survive, so that's the sweet part, but the bitter part is she's not going to remain a member of House Stark. She's going to go back into her killing ways and become a Faceless Man again. There we have the bitter part. Let's run down what we know to be true of the Faceless Men and the House of Black and White. Followers of him, of many faces, consider death to be a natural part or order of things and a merciful end to suffering. For a price, the guild will agree to kill anyone in the known world, considering this contract to be a sacrament of their god. Their price is always high or dear, but within the means of the person if they are willing to make the sacrifice. The cost of these services also depends on prominence and security of the target. So basically, how hard is it going to be to take this person out? And that will determine on how much gold we charge her as. An elite group of followers within the house, the Faceless Men are trained to perform these tasks. Faceless Men are occasionally women, only rarely will they train a child. Now, since we know the Faceless Men look at death as a sort of like an easy way out to end suffering, what if Arya Stark completes her final goal, which would be killing Cersei, and then Jaqen shows up and kills her? Now, I know that's kind of counterproductive since we just said that she could end up becoming a Faceless Man, but what if Jaqen doesn't see it that way, and she can't pay for her crimes, and she won't be accepted back into the fold because she can't be trusted? She's not truly no one. So what if Jaqen realizes this and ends her suffering, giving her the easy way out? I forgot to mention you needed to slip on your tinfoil caps for that because that likely won't happen, but it is still a possibility. A lot of people like to look at the Stark's direwolves as a prediction to how they will die. Well, the only two direwolves left alive right now are Ghost and Arya's direwolf, Nymeria. Now, it could be argued that technically Nymeria is not really Arya's direwolf anymore because she is the leader of a giant pack of wolves. So, I guess you could say that Arya kind of doesn't have her direwolf, but it is still alive, so you can't really look at Nymeria and try to predict the way Arya will end. For example, some people think that Sansa will die after she is blamed for harming a Lannister. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but Lady was killed for basically biting Joffrey, which she never did.